Oh, well, I can think of a couple of reasons. One thing I should say, first of all, is I'm not personally convinced that the world needs to be fair. That's actually a matter of opinion and interpretation, so that may be a non sequitur from the get-go. But what the movie was saying is, it's sort of hypocritical, the fact that we got to be the most powerful nation on Earth by like wiping our ass with all the baby seals and condors and stuff. You know, I mean to say that there's no rules for progress. Everybody has a right to a better life. And so I don't think it's fair to say, no, dude, you stay poor because I really like panda bears. I mean, the humanist thing to say is, I'll feed the panda bear to the starving child if that's the only option. So, I think, I'm not sure how the film said it, but basically that it's sort of, it's not fair to put our environmental priorities before other people's human rights. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Although, when there's those human conflict with like the human needs of the entire world.
Yeah.
I mean, feeding a panda bear to a starving child is one thing.
Yeah.
But, like, if you're going to screw over the whole world.
Running your second SUV on panda bears might be a different matter.
I mean, we're already doing it, and China did it too, and every other country screwed.
Like, who are we to say it, but someone has to?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we certainly lead by example a little bit, but not really. And so I don't know. I mean, I think it's a much more esoteric question. There's no single answer to that. Were you raising your hand for me? Okay. Anything else about the movie? I would love to help if I can. Anyone? Really? All right. Your debate is Monday or Tuesday. You have about a half hour to get it on with your group. Let me show you a couple of things. Number one, I expect to see your own personal individual research with just your name on it because it's an individual assignment. It's not enough for you to say, oh, you know, I just helped Michael talk about stuff. And it's not enough to like tear off the last page of Daniel's work and put your name on it. And it's not enough to just print some BS off Wikipedia. I really want you to convince me that you have added content to your group's research. If you convince me, we're good. There's no paper number, there's no magical paragraph count. This is not like a number of pages or a format. But I want to see some papers and go, yeah, it looks like Daniel did something, and yeah, it looks like Michael did something. I really want to see that you've come together as a group with everybody's individual contribution. Yeah.
If we're all doing collaborative note building on a Google Doc, you just to like label different people's.
That's one way to do it. You can also just cut and paste yours, another person, or you can cut and paste the whole document, cut out the other student's contribution, and turn it just your own.
This can be printed.
Yeah, because I can understand how technology helps you do this, so it's hard to dispute that. Okay. Plus, it's not actually transferable. I'm guessing your research notes wouldn't help you get the next year. Number two, the order of the debates is random and non-negotiable. You won't know until you show up on Monday. So everybody has to be ready to go tomorrow. Then half of you will get a bonus 24 hours. And it's random. There's no favorite. I don't even know who's got which groups. So it'll be totally random. Number three, please be prepared to debate solo. I'm sure nobody's planning to desert the rest of their team. Since you don't know when your debate is, it's kind of difficult for you to skip out on that. The flip side is things happen, you know. People get sick, people get in car accidents, people get gnarly diarrhea. I really want to know that every one of you can speak for your whole group. Please be ready to do that. Number 4, no reading, no reading, no reading, no reading, no reading. Do not read during the debate. You've seen how we do it. I check my notes and then I keep going. I'll do it again. And then I keep going. I know you can do this. Of course, you can read. But what I mean to say is, do not look down at the paper and read aloud, because I guarantee everybody in the audience will tune you out immediately. It's way easier to speak than it is to read a speech. It's a separate skill set. We haven't had time to practice that. Please don't read your debate. Don't prepare your statement in advance. You want to take some notes, some bullets, some talking points, some data? That's great. Bring a lot of papers up to the desk, but just don't go with a script. I need you to be a little bit more fluid with that. Were you raising your hand? Well, it is actually a fair debate tactic to call BS on another group's data. So if you say that illegal immigration is bad for the economy, and I'm like, actually, illegal immigrants give away $1 trillion. You may reasonably ask me where I got that. So it helps if you know, like, actually, this is UN data, or this is 2012 IRS data, or this is some crap I found on a racist blog. Number 5, please don't sweat the format of the debates. Those details don't really matter to me. I don't want you to get all focused on how many seconds you have to give out how many points or whatever. It's a lot better if you focus on the data, if you focus on your research, and actually if you practice the debate a little bit. Spend a little time, like pick a person in your group and say, okay, you be the devil's advocate, we're going to gang up on you and you got to punch holes in our argument. That may be too rhetorically rigorous for some of you, but I think it's a really good way to practice, to have the debate in advance. It'll help you sort of anticipate which direction the debate will go when you meet the other group. Number 7, you ever notice how, like, every politician will say the exact same thing all over the United States about the other side? Oh, yeah, well, it may be, but my point is more about what's called talking points. Every day that a politician shows up at work, the fax machine spits out a piece of paper that comes from the National Party headquarters. And the National Party headquarters says, today, any chance you get, we'd like you to say that the president lied about Syria, or that Mitt Romney drove very far with a dog strapped to the roof of his car. I don't know if you noticed, but there was that one day when like 700 politicians talked about Mitt Romney's dog. Like, good or bad, I'm just pointing out how amazing it is that everybody has the same talking points. And talking points are really important. It's your main message. Figure out what you want the audience to know about the debate, what you want them to think about the issue, and then just make sure your team says that a lot. So come back to those talking points. This is an issue of fundamental economics. This is about human rights. This is about practical considerations. This is not realistic. In the long term, this is, in the short term, this is, whatever you figure out, is at the core of your argument. Make sure your team will stay on that point every chance they get. They're called talking points. It is your main message. And last of all, some do's and don'ts. Feel free to use visuals. Visuals are okay. Do not quote Jose or your APES class. I do not count as an authority on these issues. I don't claim to be an authority on any issues. I think you know, don't ever quote me. Any questions? No questions? The rest of the day is yours. I hope you have a good time for your debate.